Welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia. For those of you that are new, we get together every Saturday morning and we just talk about, we review what's gone on with this channel this past week. And so that's what we're going to do. And we invite you to participate. You can become a member of the board. All you have to do is come. That's all. And we would love it if you would like and subscribe and commenting. This community is very active in talking to each other and supporting each other. So we would love to have you. Thank you for being here. Today, I wanted to show you the updates to my studio before we get started because I'm pretty impressed myself. See this lovely sign? Whoops. It says, "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who matter don't matter. Those who mind don't matter, and those who mind." Shall we start this over again? Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. And that's a Dr. Seuss quote. I'm going to keep it right here, part of the decor in the studio. I have to go and let Quinny out. Did you hear her knocking on the door? She's going to do it again. No. So then we have Quinny. You see her, that little picture? It's very important that she be part of the studio. And then we have, see that beautiful plant? Isn't that a nice backdrop? My friend Ann gave that to me. And, well, I kind of begged her to. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I saw it. It was a beautiful plant. She said, "Would you like that?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, I would love it." And then when she brings it over, I forgot how huge it was. It's huge. It's a Swedish ivy. You can't really see it, but look at it. It's even blossoming. And I had to replace those sunflowers because they were gone. And I went to the grocery store to see if I could either get some more sunflowers or a nice bouquet, but they were $15. I'm not paying that. I'm sorry. I just did an in-service on budgeting and not spending money. How could I justify that? So anyway, she gave me this beautiful plant, but I didn't have any place to put it. I still don't. But how about that? It solved two problems at the same time. I had this box of pictures that I've been trying to go through, you know, the decluttering stuff. We're going to get into that next week if it kills me. It's killing me right now. But that box is the box of pictures that I've been trying to go through to declutter. And I got rid of some of them. My son Benjamin took some. But it's been in my living room because I'm afraid to bring it up to the bunkhouse where it has been stored for the last 5 years, because Woody told me that I need to take good care of those family heirlooms because they will get moldy and rotten. So I've been afraid to put them back. So therefore, they've been just sitting there. So look at, don't they make a nice stand? So they're a stand so that the Swedish ivy can hang down. And it works perfect. It can hang on the whole circle. It's near the window, and hopefully it will survive. It was outside. She had it outside, which I'm sure is why it's so lush. But we'll see. We'll watch it and see how that works out. The other thing I was thinking is I'm really going to set up my my watercolors, and you know that's my studio. No, that's my painting studio. This is the TV show studio right here, and then the table is the art studio. The art, did you notice? So I'm really thinking about setting it up. And you won't be able to see a lot of it. I'll have to come up with something to obstruct that other side there so that you can't see the mess, because the art studio is very messy because I have every single piece of equipment that you might ever need to do a watercolor painting. When I do that, which is going to be pretty soon, I think what I'm going to try and do is, several people have sent me cards that were watercolor and that they did themselves. And I think I'd like to show those too. But every time I promise something, it gets messed up, like that apple tart. I can't figure out how to transfer videos from my phone to my computer. I cannot figure it out. I've spent hours and hours. Dustin helped me, and we thought we had it done. And it was only 2 videos, and it won't do it. And I don't want to call him. My friend Ann says, call Dustin. I said, I don't want to be one of those old ladies who's always calling her kid about stuff. I want to figure it out myself, and I will figure it out. What does this have to do with our board meeting? I feel like it's my old self back. So one of the first videos we did was National Coffee Day. And the title of the video was Don't Spill the Beans. Well, a lot of people use fresh ground beans, which is nice. I do as well. I don't always. I do it intermittently. I have a grinder. I have 2 grinders just in case. I suppose one of them will have to go when I get to that section. I can't wait to tell you my trip to Goodwill yesterday. I'm going to save it for decluttering, though. You'll get a charge out of it. You've probably done it yourself. So stay tuned. Anyway, Nancy Barter said there was way too much ado about coffee with an exclamation point. Well, Nancy, I hope you're taking this in good spirit. Dear Heart Renee says she had a revelation when she was watching the video, because she drinks half decaf and regular, but she has the regular container and she has the decaf container, and she spoons from each one. And she said, duh. How come I don't put them in one container and scoop them from one? I'm telling you, Senior Insights is having an impact on everybody that shows up. And Faithy loves whole bean coffee. Lorraine uses a French press. My sister uses a French press because she's very well traveled. She travels all over Europe every year. She's not a millionaire or anything. Well, she might be, I don't know. She doesn't tell me her finances, but she's well traveled and she brings her French press with her. And I've had the privilege of going with her once, and we used the French press, and it was very good. So I have experienced the French press. Laura loves Black Rifle coffee. I have seen that advertised on some of the channels that I watch. Well, I don't watch much TV, but there's a few things that I can't miss. Pam's husband, he roasts. He doesn't grind. He roasts his own coffee beans. Can you imagine that? So she says, I'm not really a snob, but I am particular. Yeah, I bet she is particular. So I commented back and said, where does he get the beans from? I mean, like, how do you do these things? How do you decide you're going to be a coffee roaster? And it sounds like it's a hobby. So anyway, you know where he gets the beans? He gets them from Yemen. Yemen, the one that's in the news all the time. And he gets them from a goat herder. I don't know if it's a big corporate goat herder or it's really a really goat herder on the side of the mountains or the hills or the deserts or whatever the climate is there. He buys the bags 10 pounds, so he buys a 10-pound bag, and then he gets his shipping free. So that's probably a pretty good deal, because I would imagine shipping from Yemen would not be inexpensive, judging from some of the packages that I have received and saw how much money people had paid to ship it to me. So anyway, maybe she'll tell us more about that, because I find it kind of interesting. Someone else says, don't you ever wonder, like, who thought up the idea to roast the coffee beans? I don't know. I know coffee's been around for a long, long time. I think it's actually longer than what I said. That's just my opinion. But, okay. Then I shared all my big money mistakes. Well, that wasn't all of them, trust me. I can't believe that I'm sharing my whole life with you guys. I must trust you or something. No, I think that's the way we learn. We learn from our mistakes. We also learn by talking about things that bother us or were of concern or something that we learned something from. So I sure learned something about my mistakes, and they were costly. So it wasn't just little mistakes. But anyway, a budget is extremely important. You have to have a budget. You have to know how much money you have coming in, if you have any, or if you just have your Social Security, then you have to know. Well, you guys know, I don't need to tell you that. Connie says, adulting is very hard. And senior adulting is even harder. Imagine the kids nowadays who have everything handed to them on a platter. Do you want that toy? Sure, honey, get that toy. You don't want a hamburger? Well, get something else. My mother used to say, find the cheapest thing on the menu. She did. We split our popsicles. Anyway, what does that have to do with anything? I was talking about kids. They're not going to know how to budget their money. Maybe they do because they were able to afford these $1 million homes or $500,000 homes or whatever. Pam reminds us, when we want to spend money, think about how hard we worked for it. Just think about it. And maybe you'll think twice about spending it, because you work hard. You work really hard. And if you don't get, $100 an hour, and you get paid like $10 an hour or $20 an hour, I mean, that's right around, the entry-level pay. You get that, and you're going to buy something for $50. You have to work 5 hours or 2.5 hours. Anyway, you cut it, that's a lot of time. So think twice about it. I thought that was really good advice and worth reminding you folks. Sandy C., it didn't sound like they really have she and her husband have any major problems, but she did say money causes stress. I can second that. I bet a lot of people can, especially when you don't have enough money to pay the bills and the bill collectors are calling and you're wondering if your electricity is going to be shut off and all that kind of stuff. It's not good. Money's the root of all evil. It's too bad we have to have it, because people will kill for money. And money isn't everything. We need it, unfortunately, to survive. We don't need other things, though. They're just material things. Paula, I want to say congratulations. She's retiring from her 15-hour-a-week job because she can't stand the stress anymore. She must work on a computer, and it's changing all the time. She can't keep up with the changes. Quinn is liking that arrangement in the studio. So I'm happy for her that she's going to quit. And she'll just have to pay attention to her finances and how she spends her money. Martha came here one day this week, and she had her chair pulled out from underneath her. That isn't kind. That isn't welcoming. You new people, you're going to think I'm nuts. This is the way I am. Anna says, Anna is taking care of her husband who has Alzheimer's, and we're all extremely impressed, and I don't know what I can say about it, but she's taking care of her husband, and she takes him out for walks twice a day, long walks, so that it'll tire him out, so he'll sleep. And she also has a bicycle that he sits. It's kind of like a tandem bicycle, but it's side by side, and he doesn't have any control over it, but he can wheel it. She probably feels sorry for herself sometimes, probably feels alone. I don't know, I'm guessing that's how I would be. I would be saying sometimes, poor me, how can I do this? Well, she likes to buy expensive purses. She has so many she can't count them. I'm exaggerating. But she stopped when she wanted to buy this last one because it's just a material thing. And what she's doing is so much more important, taking care of her husband, who, well, we'll talk about love in the next chapter. Suzanne liked the idea of a brown bag lunch, and it really is. It's kind of fun. It's totally different. You don't have a waitress hovering over you. And Piano Gal, she's going to try out the brown bag lunch with her church group. She's going to see if they'd be interested in doing that. And Black Pony, she uses Dave Ramsey's app to keep control of her budget, so she uses that. And there are all kinds of budgeting apps on the computer. There's also tons of videos. I am by no means the expert on budgeting, as you can tell from my mistakes. But there's a lot of help out there, a lot of things that you can do on your own. Patrick Andrew, I don't know if that's a woman or a man. I know Patrick Andrew sounds like a man, but sometimes the wives use their husbands' signs or whatever you call it. But they agreed with me about leasing. I don't know. I can't say enough bad things about it. Patty Huron says she knows that Amazon can be addictive. I think we all know that. It's so easy. Oh, I think I'd like that. I think I'd like that. And Lourdes, my dear friend Lourdes, she says, been there, done that. Haven't we all? Haven't we all done that? So don't feel bad about it. Just accept it like all the other things. You just have to acknowledge that, yeah, you might have a problem, or you might not. That's good. But you might have a problem, and what are you going to do about it? Then we talked about love, and that was the name of the video, love. I'm going to have a cold drink now because I'm getting thirsty. I have to confess, this was a prop. It is, because I've heard other channels the creators. I can't call myself a creator. But people have said in their comments, do you have coffee in your cup? So, no, I don't. But when I have tea, I tell you. Anyway, love. Faithy says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. And that's in John chapter 3, verse 16. Evie's son, he's wiser than his years. Evie from Retired Life with Evie. She's kind of young, but she knows about love. So she's a good friend of mine. She asked her son, her 5-year-old son, what he thought love was. And he said, it's a good feeling that I have about a person. And she says that she has always just kind of thought about it that way. That's profound for a 5-year-old. But it's like the raw truth. Pretty cool. If you have a good feeling about someone. Pam says, God is love, and the world understanding of love will be empty and missing something without realizing that love comes from God. Because I had said, when I was doing my research, and like I said, I don't do a lot of research. You can tell by the profound things that I talk about. But God wasn't mentioned at all. And God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son for us. So she says, when they realize that love comes from God, it's an essence of goodness. I'm going to try and do a little bit more of that in the channel. Not like Kentucky Life with Debbie. Oh, she does a fabulous job talking about God and Jesus and the love of God. And I would recommend that you go in there. Robbie says, agape love is the only true love. And that's actually, that triangle that I told you about that psychologist did. Although he didn't mention God, what he mentioned was the characteristics of true love. Commitment, intimacy, and what was the other one? Commitment, intimacy. I can't remember. Anyway, agape love is those things. He also said in that triangle thing, it's very hard to maintain that love. And I would imagine that whether it's a person or if it's God, it's not always easy either way, is it? Let's be honest. And then Patrick Andrew said, what about community love? And I loved that. I thought that was so cool and so nice. And I think that most of us do love each other. Maybe it's just as acquaintances, but we care about each other, and we want to support each other. We want to be kind to each other, uplifting, and on and on and on and on. So I think community love is okay. What do you think? I think it's okay for me to say that I love you. I posted a couple months ago, I think. Have I told you lately that I love you? And I feel very fondly of you. Whether that's love, but if you look at Evie's son's definition, it sounds kind of like it. Vicky, she says that she had quite a few quotes that I didn't take them all, but God tells us to love everyone, even our enemies. Yep. And then Patricia says, "Where's Woody Woody?" And he responds, "I'm here, I'm here." So, all in all, I think it was oh, I didn't talk about the live. The live was on Tuesday. It was a lot of fun. I did notice some differences with it. I'll tell you what they were. I wasn't as spontaneous. Like, I was still fiddling around, and I didn't even know if that I was on the live already. And then I started seeing everybody's name coming up on the computer, and I'm saying, I think I'm on live. And I've seen other people do that when they're fooling around and they don't know. But I'm telling you, every time I've done a live, instantly someone is there. So I don't know why I did that. But anyway, I wasn't as spontaneous as I was at the 4:30 in the morning one or the 12 noon ones. And the reason I wasn't spontaneous is this one was planned. And I spent all day thinking about it. That's the way I am. I can do one activity a day, and that's all I can handle. And so I was thinking all day, what am I going to talk about? What if I don't do it right? What if I push the wrong button? And on and on and on. You know, you people who have anxiety. We're not supposed to have anxiety. If I felt confident in my computer skills, I probably wouldn't either. I would say that that is my biggest source of anxiety. But anyway, so that live had a lot of views. I'm not sure how many, but it had less than the other four. And I really think that it was scheduled. It was not spontaneous. And I don't know. I don't know why it was. The first one that I did was the most attended and participated in. And Tuesdays was the least. But it was good. I mean, it was good. We had fun. I had fun. Once I loosened up, I had fun. And I really enjoyed it. I liked it. I wish we could see each other. We got to figure out a way. There's got to be a way. Well, they say where there's a will, there's a way, but I don't know. But it would be really nice to see each other, because don't you have like a vision of who you think somebody might look like, or what they might look like, who they might look like? I don't know. I know who some of you look like, because you've sent me pictures. I should plaster them on the thumbnail. I wouldn't do that without your permission. But if you sent them to me, you probably figured that I might show them. So I might just do that. Anyway, so Dustin didn't show up. Dustin didn't have to help me. I wonder why he didn't show up. Yeah. He's left me on my own, abandoned again. And did I tell you I'm having such computer problems? I keep talking about that stupid apple strudel. I've made 2 of them. I cannot get my files to transfer from my phone to the computer. Dustin helped me, and we did 2, and I was on overload because I was doing it for hours and hours. And I said I'll try it again tomorrow because it seems like it's working. Well, I did, and it didn't work. So my friend Ann said, well, did you call Dustin? No, I don't want to be that whining old lady who's calling her kids all the time. I don't want to do that. But sometimes you have to swallow your pride, and maybe you have to do that. And just hope that you're not aggravating them too much. So anyway, I will see you on, today's Saturday, Sunday, on Monday. So I hope you don't miss me too much. I kind of felt strange last Sunday. Not that, I do record these a day earlier. But it still felt funny that I didn't have anything pressing to do. So anyway, thank you for your support. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining this channel. Please like and subscribe. The likes are important. The subscriptions are important. And the comments are important.